I'm back, and what we're getting ready to do is we're getting ready to flour the chicken first. And so I like to wear my gloves while I do this because I don't like to get all of that on my hand. And you're working with poultry, and during this day and time, people like for you to keep things clean. Even though I'm going to be the only one that's going to be eating this, still I like to do a very clean cooking. I like to cook clean. You like to keep everything kind of sanitized when you're in your kitchen. And I just turned my flour over like this in the chicken in the bowl like this here, and you see how we get all the flour all the way over. And so now I'm going to test to see if my heat is hot enough. And to do that, I'm going to get a little French fry out of my refrigerator. Just one French fry. I'm not going to cook French fries right now, but this is just to test the pot to see how hot it is. Ooh, wowee. Look how big that French fry is. These are McCain French fries, by the way, and I like to get these cooked French fries. I usually cut my own French fries, but because I'm going to be cooking today, I am going to make chicken, so I'm going to test it. And I see that it's not sizzling up yet, so that means that it is not hot enough. So I'm going to leave it in there and see how fast it sizzles up. And while that's heating up, while my pan is heating up, what I'm getting ready to do here, do a little kitchen cleanup first. Put away my flour. Put these French fries back in the freezer. And then I'm going to get my shrimps out. And I'm going to cut my shrimps because I'm going to also make shrimp fried rice. And to make shrimp fried rice, I got some old, already cooked rice, like this here. This is already cooked rice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up some shrimps. Get me a little cutting board, nice clean cutting board. And I get me a nice chef's knife. These are one of the best knives to use. Now I hear that sizzle. It's sizzling just a little bit, but not quite. So once that French fry rises to the top, I know that my oil is hot enough. But it didn't rise yet, so we're not going to mess with it. In the meantime, like I said, I'm going to be cutting up my shrimps. I'm going to prepare my shrimps for the shrimp fried rice. And what I like to do is I like to shell it from the bottom. Take this part off, and you throw it away. And depending on how many shrimps I'm going to cook, don't really need a whole lot because it's just going to be, just for me. And maybe if I have a guest stop over, like one person, they can have some. But like I said in the beginning of this program, that you can make this meal either for yourself or for your family. So I'm making it for myself. All of my kids are grown. My baby is now 31 years old, 32 this year. Lord have mercy, I am getting old. I am now 57 years old. I'm going to be 58 next month. And I'm getting old. And I don't have anyone here but just me. And sometimes my husband is here. Most of the time he is not. Goody for me. Because I don't have to work so hard. Because when he's here, he makes me work because he always wants stuff. Always want me to cook. Oh, can you cook me this? Oh, you got anything to drink? Oh, can you make me a sandwich? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. 5 o'clock comes around, I'll be like, yo, because we don't live in the same place, I'll be like, hey, don't you got someplace you gotta go? Just to get him up out of the house, because he's just, sometimes I love him being here, but other times, I do not. And I know you other women that's out there, you've had the same experience, and it's just that we've worked out an agreement with one another that we're going to kind of like stay in our own separate places. We'll see each other every day, but we're not going to stay in the same place because, you know, he crowds my space a little bit. And I'm the type that really does like to be left alone. Thank you very much. I don't like a whole lot of company, and I don't like people yakking in my ear all day long. And my husband, he likes to talk, God bless him. He likes to talk, and he likes to talk about cars. I don't give a damn, but, you know, just to be nice, I say, hey, honey, oh, that's wonderful. You know, just to keep him talking. And he likes to talk about cabinet stuff, and, you know, he likes to talk about things that, you know, that his hobbies and stuff like that, in which I don't really mind him talking to me about it. But sometimes I just like to just relax, read a book, and I'm writing a book, so I don't like to have a whole lot of talking going on in my ear. But anyway, it seems like that oil has heated up, and I got me a little thong here, like this one here, and because, now I'm going to show you how the French fry rolls to the top. You see that? You can see the French fry. You see the French fry is like floating to the top. That means that my oil is ready. So I'm going to take the French fry out, and I'm going to put it on some paper. So I'm not going to eat it right now. And then I'm going to get some paper towel. I'm going to get me a plate. Like that. And that's where I'm going to put my chicken after it fries. So now that the heat is ready, put in chicken at a time. Oh, look at that boiling chicken. Oh, it's boiling so nicely. Look at that there. You hear that sizzle? Oh, yeah. That's what we're doing here. And I love to deep fry my food. It comes out so lovely. Look at that. You see that? There we go. Now we're done. We're going to let that cook for at least 8 minutes. At least 8 minutes. While that's cooking, throw that away. We'll do a little cleanup here. Make sure that I clean all the flour out of this bowl here so I don't clog up my sink. Just throw that away. I'm going to take that garbage out today too because I don't want those shells smelling. And while that's going, let's clean out this bowl. I've already got some dishwater going here. Just clean out the bowl on one side and the other side. You always like to clean as you go. That way you always have a clean kitchen at all times. Because you don't want to come in your kitchen and you've got a dirty kitchen. Nobody likes a dirty kitchen, right? And would you eat some food at a restaurant that had a dirty kitchen? No, you would not. So I like to keep my kitchen clean. So every time I use a item like a bowl or utensil, I clean it out as soon as I get done with it. And because I am done with this bowl, using it for the flouring of the poultry, clean it, rinse it, and air dry. And why do we air dry our dishes instead of towel drying it? Because bacteria can get inside the towel and it doesn't do you any justice by towel drying it. The only time that I would towel dry something is if I'm going to use it right away. And, you know, it was the only thing in the house that I needed, and I needed it right away, and so I would towel dry it. But other than that, it's always good to air dry your dishes, and when they're dry, then you put them away. Do not towel dry it. That can cause a contamination or cross-contamination. And because this can be cross-contaminated, I am not going to eat this French fry. I'm going to throw it in the garbage. I was just using that as an example. Anyway, while that's going on, I've got me a container here where I'm going to cut my shrimps that I had peeled, I'm going to cut them, put them in here. So here we go. This is how you make extra shrimp. Oops, did I do that? Put that there, put that here. So now, take the shrimp. And you see these little shrimp lines right here? Even though you don't really have to do it like this. But this is how I do it so that I would cut my shrimp evenly. Cut along the lines. And you got even shrimp. Even shrimp. Even shrimp. Now you see that? You see how even all the shrimp are the same size there? And that way you'll always have enough shrimp inside your shrimp fried rice. You want to have a lot of shrimp? You just cut up the big shrimp. That's all you do. Just cut it up like that. Throw it in there. This is such an easy thing to do. Lots of people don't do this. I think that I'm like a very small percentage of a person that actually cut their shrimp like this before they make their shrimp fried rice. But it's a good thing to do. And I always like to pre-cut a lot of things that I use, like onions, peppers, so that I can save time in the kitchen. I will always have it cut. I always pre-cut my onions that I'm going to use in the shrimp fried rice. I have them in the refrigerator. I'll get that out in a minute and show you exactly how it is. And I showed you before how to cut an onion so that you're not crying. What you do is that you cut your onion. First you cut a piece off on the bottom so that the onion will be stable. And then you cut the onion in half. And then the lines that are in the onion, you cut along the lines that are in the onion. When you cut it in half, you cut along the lines that are in the onion. And then you just cut the onion like that. Just cut it down. And it'll be cut up without you having to cut the onion so much, and it avoids you crying. It doesn't give it time to juice up and make you cry. Anyway, I showed you that in one of my videos, but in this video, I am showing you how to make fried chicken with shrimp fried rice at home. That way you don't have to spend so much money at the Chinese restaurant, which is one of my favorites. I love to go to the Chinese restaurant and get shrimp fried rice and pork fried rice and any type of fried rice, vegetable fried rice. And I also like to get egg rolls, and I like to get chicken with it. So I'm going to show you how to make fried chicken wings at home. That way you don't spend so much money at Popeyes, the Chinese restaurant, or at KFC. Oops, I almost dropped that. Well, that should be enough of the shrimp right there. You see that? That's a lot of shrimp, and that's what I'm going to use. This shrimp right here, because it's already peeled and cut, I'm going to get a container like this one here. Very small container. And I saved these from when I have soup at the Chinese restaurant because it comes with a top. It's plastic. You go in the store, get some Glad containers like this, and it costs you like $3, $4 or $3 or something like that. This I get from the Chinese restaurant. I save it, and it's free. For me, it is, because it's just something that they give you. They get a little top like this. Put the shrimp that I'm not using right away, and I put it in here. Put it in the container. Oops, almost dropped it. Now I dropped one, that's okay. And I just put it in the refrigerator for later, for when I want to use it. See that? It's nice and tucked away. Then I'll get out my pre-cut onions. Some pre-cut onions right here. Onions and peppers that are already pre-cut. I'm going to use this for my shrimp fried rice. But if I didn't want to use this, I'm going to show you again how to cut an onion in a way that you do not have to worry about crying. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to demonstrate that one more time. I think that, some of you are asking me about that. You know, they say, oh, wow, that really does work. Get me out of onion. Yellow onion like that. So this is a yellow onion. Take it and I just cut off a little piece on the bottom like that. Throw this away. Pull this garbage can over. Looks like the chicken is getting done pretty much. Looks pretty good. Now, I cut this off because onions, they roll, you know? And so in order for it not to roll, I just cut this little piece off, and that'll give it stability right there. And so then I'm going to cut it in half here. Cut it along here. Put this part over here. Then I'll peel it. Makes it a little bit easier to peel too. So you just peel it like this. Take this little heavy skin off. And so because it's right here, I know that I can just cut around that little root part right there. And you see these little lines right here along the onion? See the lines along the onion? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut along those lines like this. See? And then, because I cut along the lines, now I can just cut my onion. You see that? Isn't that nice? And I'll just cut it in half right here. Make it a little bit easier on myself. And I'll just cut it. You see that? I don't even have to cut much of the onion. And I just take this little root part right here and I throw that away. My onion is already cut. You see that? And then I'll just cut it a little bit more just to make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, there we go. Let's take the onion, put it in a bowl. Doesn't take long, huh? That's the quickest cutting onion you've ever seen, right? Not as quick as some of those chefs that you see on TV, but you don't have to be so fast. I'm not trying to make anybody a chef. I'm just trying to show you how to cut an onion without crying. You see that? Isn't that easy? And it's always good to hold your knife so that, you see this part right here? You always hold the knife like that and give yourself leverage. Because if you don't, you'll take a chance of cutting yourself. So that's how you're supposed to hold your knife. It's another thing that I learned in culinary school. Throw that away. Look at that. Easy peasy. Isn't that nice? No tears at all. Not a wet eye anywhere. I won't be crying like Florence on the Brady Bunch or anybody that you see cutting onions. Fred Flintstone, he was cutting onions. I'm cutting onions. Yeah, he didn't need to be crying. Because all you got to do is just peel the onion back like this. That. Cut along the lines. just cut them. So you got that leverage on that knife. There you go. Everything is nice and cut. You use your knife as a little scraper there. Starting to get a few more things for my kitchen so that I'll have all the things that I need in order to be a cook. See, this is the root part right here, and the root part goes right in the garbage. Same thing with this. I'm going to do the same thing. Cut along the line. And you just cut it. Because these are pre-cut, this is a pre-cut onion. This is one onion cut. I've already got it ready for my recipe whenever I get ready to use it. I have just onion because I don't want to use pepper in my shrimp fried rice. I like to just use onion, and if I have shallots or if I have scallion, green onion, I use that too, but that's all that I use. Now, let's see what our chicken is doing. Where is my thong? Got my thong right here. And the chicken should be ready. Look at that. Just got to turn it just a little bit because there's a little, bubbly on one side. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful color, though? Look at that. Look how pretty that is. It's a pretty color. But I'm going to give it just a few more minutes because it's on one side is a little white, and we want it to be cooked all the way. But it looks like it's cooking real good. And so while that's cooking for just a few more minutes, I'm going to get another container for my onion. Just going to leave out enough for what I'm going to use my shrimp fried rice for. So I'm going to put that in there. And that's about what I want to use for my shrimp fried rice. Don't want to use a whole lot. And get another top for it. Cover it up. Put it in the refrigerator. And that way I got pre-cut onions and I got pre-cut onions and peppers mixed together. Now we're going to clean up this mess. That's what I was trying to do before. Clean up this mess. Throw everything that's on the side here into the garbage because it's contaminated now. Because it fell. That up. And we'll just wash our plate. Move this out of the way. I needed some space. This. Wash my knife. Rinse. Put it in the dish rack. Don't have a whole lot of space in this kitchen. I wish I had a better kitchen that had more space in it. I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to dry it over here. That way it doesn't take a chance of falling and cutting someone. This, one side, the other side. And if I feel like I need to use my spray it a little bit. And with my happy face, just scrub it down. And if I think I want to do it a little faster, use my spray gun. And I'm done. Let's put it up to dry. This inside my little cubby hole here, and that way everything is nice and ready for the next. Now, what I'm going to do